it's Harry from ProFormance Global. Today we're going to be doing an interview with one of our coaches from Holland, Roy. We're going to be talking about scouting and some of his experiences in the world of scouting across quite a long career. So first of all, my first question for Roy would be how and why did you first get into football scouting?
I became scout because I thought it was time to stop coaching youth teams. That's probably the main reason.
Yeah.
And also because I was asked to do that.
Oh, okay, cool. So obviously you used to be a coach and then you moved into scouting. So do you think that coaches make a good scout and why?
No, I don't think that would go automatically because coaching is I would say coaching is totally different than scouting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What would you say kind of the main differences are, and for you, how did you have to change your kind of outlook on football to go from a coach to a scout?
Yeah, a good coach is not always a good scout, and a good scout is absolutely not a good coach.
Yeah.
And I learned most of the thing I know now with PSV Eindhoven.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, that leads me on to my next question: is what clubs have you worked for in terms of scouting?
Yeah, first I worked for Willem II. I was the head scout and also the academy director.
Yeah.
And then I moved to PSV Eindhoven, and my main job was scouting there.
Okay, cool. So, for example, what was your first ever assignment in scouting? What was your first ever activity that you had to go and do? Did you just go watch a youth match or a first team or?
Yeah, we did everything. With Willem II I did everything. I scouted for the first team,
yeah.
And I also scouted youth players, and we were pretty successful. That's why PSV Eindhoven asked to come over to Eindhoven. And in Eindhoven we did the same, adults and also youth.
Yeah, obviously for those that don't know, Willem II and PSV are both very close together in terms of where they are in Holland. So when you moved from Willem II to PSV Eindhoven, were you able to exploit your knowledge of Willem II players, and did you take players with you from Willem II over to PSV? Or
to be honest, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Only the best, of course.
Yeah,
because the level's different.
Okay, that's cool. Is there anyone who you'd say had a really big influence on you when you first started scouting, or when you were coaching and you were going to make the decision to go into scouting? Was there one person or some other people that you think had an influence on you and how you developed as a scout?
No, not one person, because if you are depending on one person, it wouldn't be, I would say it would be beneficial for your career.
Yeah.
But Peter Visser, he became scout of Chelsea.
Yeah.
Kees Rijvers, he was one of the main scouts at PSV Eindhoven. Toddy Bruin-Slot, he's now the main scout of Ajax.
Okay.
Had a big influence on me.
Okay, cool. And what kind of things did you learn or take from them as scouts?
Especially Kees Rijvers taught me the details.
Okay.
And he said to me, it's not really important what the player can, but it's really important what the player cannot.
Okay.
And if he doesn't master an element in football, it should be trainable. Otherwise, stay away from him.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. Have you got any special kind of stories or memories from when you first started scouting that kind of you look back on and think, wow, that was a big moment in my career, or a big part of where you are now?
I don't know, because when you have to mention some players,
yeah,
you need to think backwards, and I really don't know. I only know that I saw Mark Overmars when he was 16 and he played for the Go Ahead Eagles, and I saw some talented players abroad Holland.
Yeah.
But also a little Ibrahim Afellay when he was 9.
Oh, okay. So when you first saw, you could talk about both of those players. So Ibrahim Afellay at 9 years old, did you look at him and think, yes, he's going to be a top football player? Or can you not say that after just seeing him once at 9 years old?
No, it's too much honor for me to say that I scouted Ibrahim Afellay, because with PSV we had to circulate when a scout get a tip
Yeah.
from a player like Afly, we went there with 2 or 3 scouts.
Yeah.
And we did that not at the same time, but maybe in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, if Afly was for me the most, I would say the most striking player, because he had everything. He had speed, he had technique, and especially he had the will to win.
Yeah. I've done a little bit of scouting here and there, and when I'm watching a game, there's always kind of, you're looking for something to stand out straight away. Is there an aspect that you look for to kind of wow you straight away in terms of if you're watching a player? Is there anything that you could say that would really turn your head and think, wow, I need to stay and watch this player further?
Yes, first speed, and not only speed of running, but also speed of, I would say, speed of recognition of the game,
Yes,
reading of the game, and second, really important is tactical awareness.
Oh, okay, cool. So that obviously we've spoken a little bit about some of the players that you have seen, and obviously you said Afly. Is there any other players that you think are like kind of the best players that you have seen play, and what happened to them? Is there a player who you saw who you thought could reach the same levels as a Mark Overmars or an Afly, but who hasn't kind of gone on and become a star? I suppose it's quite hard.
I would mention the opposite thing. Probably the best player I ever seen was Marcel Majoros.
Yeah.
At the age of 14, and he was named to be the second Johan Cruyff in Holland, but he didn't make it because he got into an accident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very sad. So you spoke earlier about what you see in a players. Is there things that you see in a player that are trainable, and obviously there are things in a player which aren't trainable? So what would you say are a few aspects that you look at a player and think, wow, he's got something that I can't train, and then also if you look at a player who's got something but you think there's other things that you can teach him?
Yeah, the most important thing, one, is speed.
Yeah.
And speed is, I would say you can improve speed, but you can't make a player faster.
No.
And technique is trainable, yeah, especially controlling the ball or whatever. Tactical awareness, I don't know, I don't think so.
Yeah. So you spoke about it earlier actually, but would you say that a player's shortcomings or what they can't do is more important when you're looking at a player than what they can actually do? So if you looked at a player and they had a few things they could do well, but on the other hand they had some things they couldn't do, what would you focus on if you were kind of writing a report on that player? What's more important really?
The balance between what they can do and what they excel in.
Yeah.
Like Fellaini, yeah?
Yeah.
His technique is, I would say, poor, yeah?
Yeah.
But he is physical, he is pretty fast, yeah? And he has the desire to win.
Yeah.
So the 3 versus 1, and that's why probably he made it.
Oh, okay, yeah, very interesting. So have you only worked in Holland, or have you worked in other countries as well in terms of scouting and recruiting players?
Yes, I worked in Brazil, I worked in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and also in the United States, but yeah, Brazil, it's easy to fill up 2 or 3 buses just picking up the talented players at Copacabana.
Yeah.
And in America, it's really hard to find talented American kids, because when American kids are good, yeah, they are good for the MLS probably, they are good for American level of soccer or football, but they're not natural talented players.
Yeah. I suppose obviously in America there's so many other sports as well, which are so much bigger, so the quick players who maybe had to become good at football go into the...
Yeah, and in America, football, they call it soccer.
Yeah.
It's probably more white man sport and middle or upper class sport.
Okay, cool. So where would you, obviously you've worked in lots of different countries and everywhere is different, but where would you say has the best or the most effective scouting network in terms of finding young players and bringing them through and up until to the first team?
I think France.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to Nantes and Bordeaux, they have academies and they really have good talent players, but France has, I would say, an advantage because they have a lot of former colonies.
Yeah.
And most of the French players are African players.
Yeah, because in England, obviously you have all the countries have their under 16s, under 17s, U18, U19, U21, and I think in England a lot of the time the young players, such as your Marcus Rashfords and players like that, seem to skip the youth setup and go straight into the first team, and they go to bigger clubs and they don't get enough match time. Whereas at the recent under 21 championships, I see teams like France and they've got top players who are playing for top teams in their country and top teams all around the world, but they're still playing youth under 21 football. Do you think that they've got it wrong a little bit in England, and those players should go all the way through the youth setup before they go into the full team, rather than going straight from under 18 to the first team, for example?
It's just like high school kid. You can't make your final exams before you pass all the classes.
Yeah, definitely. That's quite interesting.
Especially mentally.
Yeah. So when you're looking for a player, I'm sure you're obviously looking for different things in different players. But if we were talking top 4 attributes, we'll go through. So if you're looking for a goalkeeper, for example, what would be the top 4 things that you would kind of look for?
I would say agility.
Yeah.
First, of course, size. Yeah. Third, courage. They need to show guts.
Yeah.
And fourth, a little bit lunatic.
Yeah, definitely. Because with a goalkeeper as well, there are things that you can't teach. You're either brave or you're not brave. And I think in England, they look, obviously they're very focused on height, and they look a lot at their parents' height and the projected, they kind of try and project. Is that something they do in Holland as well?
Same.
Yeah. So we'll move on to if you were looking for a defender, say a centre back, what would be the kind of top 4 things you'd look for in a centre back?
Also physical.
Yep.
Although there are some, like Mascherano, exceptions that proves the opposite.
Yeah.
But physical, technique, of course, also coach, and most of all, tactical awareness and discipline.
Cool. And then if we move on to midfield, let's say we were looking for a number 10, an attacking midfielder, what would be the top 4 kind of things we'd look for?
I would say tactical awareness.
Yeah.
Before technique, but also technique, of course, and sometimes speed. Not necessarily look like Del Piero.
Yeah.
Look like players like that. They're not really fast, but yeah. But you forgot one position.
What's that?
The outside back.
Yeah.
At this moment is probably one of the most important.
Wing back.
Yeah, the wing backs. Yeah.
So we can go on to that. So if you were looking for a wing back, say right wing back, what would be key attributes there?
Speed.
Yeah.
Also a little bit physical, tactical awareness and discipline.
Because I see quite a lot now, wingers and forwards being converted into fullbacks. For example, at Arsenal, Oxlade-Chamberlain now operates mostly as a fullback, and there's a young player who we saw the other day, Reece Nelson, who throughout his whole career has played attacking, and now he's playing wing back. So obviously going forward they're very strong, but I see a lot of teams getting undone by them not having the defensive awareness, and a lot of time they get out of jail because they've got pace, but at the same time defensively they're just not quite as strong.
Yeah, but that also depends on the coach.
Yeah.
Louis van Gaal did the same with Philip Lahm.
Yeah.
He was a winger. He did the same with Bud Stuber. Yeah. So when the coach has the tactical awareness to put the right player on the right spot, he has a chance.
And then if we were looking at an attacker, so a centre forward, a striker, what would be the 4 key things we'd look for there?
Strong, fast, technique, and of course, in Holland they would say they should have a nose for the goal. Yeah. They should smell the chances.
In the right place at the right time. So you've worked at both PSV and Willem II. I'd say it'd be quite interesting to see what the differences in recruitment would be at these both clubs, because I know I've been over there, and budget-wise Willem II are far behind PSV. So what was the difference for you as a head of recruitment there at both clubs?
I would say the same gap as you will see between Luton Town and Man United. Yeah. Totally not comparable. and also budget-wise not. PSV spent 6 or 7 million just for youth academy, and Willem II total budget is 8.5.
Yeah, so obviously being so close, it must be so hard for a club like Willem II to ever, impossible to ever catch up to the level that the other teams are.
Yeah.
So at Willem II, would you focus more on youth and trying to find young players, bring them in and sell them on for a profit? Would you look more at that?
No, we are looking for players like Jamie Vardy, you know?
Yeah.
The so-called second-hand players.
Yeah.
And try to find that sort of players and try to make them better. Yeah.
And then obviously, I suppose you would utilise the loan system a lot more at a club like Willem II. You would try and take players from PSV, Ajax on loan for the season, or is that not something that they really look
that's
for?
what they do, but that's I would say it's not smart, because it's just like renting a house. You rent a house, you pay somebody else, and the house will never ever be yours.
Yeah.
That's killing your budget.
Yeah. So you've done scouting at a club level. Did you ever do kind of opposition scouting, or go in and watching the opposition, or was it only just looking for players?
No, I also did the oppositional scouting, but I like to scout players better than...
Yeah, so you enjoy that one more. And have you ever done anything for a national team? So did you ever do anything with the Dutch national team, or was it just purely with the club?
Yeah, in the beginning of my career I worked for the KNVB.
Yeah.
And just scout youth players for regional teams and national teams, yeah. But that's more the lower age.
Yeah. So if you had a choice between going out and watching youth games and scouting for youth players, or scouting for the first team, so going as PSV to watch the Championship in England looking for a player, or going to Belgium to look for a player to go straight into the first team, or do you prefer trying to find a young player to come into the academy and then go through?
Both can be challenged, because scouting youth players means that it's a challenge for you to see if you can make them better.
Yeah.
If the shortcomings are trainable, and scouting for the first team is also a challenge, because that's the market.
Do you have any kind of advice for young coaches or scouts who are looking to get involved in scouting, finding players for clubs? Any advice for them in terms of how they should start, or how they should go about trying to make a career? Because it's very hard in England, I think, to make a career as a scout. It's not very well paid, and a lot of people are volunteers.
Same in Holland.
Yeah, so would you have any advice for anyone who's trying to kind of make a career in that field? Or
yeah, first, never ever think that your opinion is the most important opinion.
Yep.
You better, I would say, keep your mouth shut and listen. Yeah, because listen carefully. That means that you get a lot of information. Third, don't base your opinion on one game. Come back.
So a player that I've watched football all over Europe, and I watched a lot of PSV before Memphis Depay went from PSV to Manchester United, and obviously I thought that he would be able to make the step from PSV to Manchester United. He's a great talented player, but obviously it didn't really work out for him. He's now playing in France. So what would you say stopped him or held him back from taking his talent in Holland and proving it at the top stage of Manchester United?
3 things: the money,
Yep.
his attitude, and his agent.
Okay. So in terms of that, how or why did that affect him?
He was too much focused on money.
Yeah.
That's what I think, being an outsider.
Yeah.
I just read newspapers, I talk to people who knew him, and that's it.
Yeah. Obviously, being at PSV, he wouldn't have been on, I'd say, even half as much money as when he went to Manchester United. So I guess it's hard.
5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. Hard for a young player. They think they've made it before they actually have made it, I suppose.
Yeah, but listen, when you make a lot of money at a new club, yeah, try to prove yourself first, and then go out and shop a Bentley or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Roy. Please subscribe for future content. We'll also be recording a video with Roy on his coaching around the world. You can also click on the link below to watch one of our most recent videos.